Om Shri Sai Ram. Pranams to Bhagavan. Let's start today's session with our prayers. Jai Sai Ram.
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः।
మధురం మధురం వదనం మధురం నయనం మధురం హసితం మధురం 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 వదనం మధురం నయనం మధురం హసితం మధురం అదరం మధురం వదనం మధురం నయనం మధురం హసితం మధురం అదరం మధురం వదనం మధురం నయనం మధురం హసితం మధురం అదరం మధురం వదనం మధురం నయనం మధురం హసితం మధురం హృదయం మధురం గమనం మధురం మధురాధిపతేరఖిలం మధురం వచనం మధురం చరితం మధురం వసనం మధురం ఫలితం మధురం వచనం మధురం చరితం మధురం వసనం మధురం ఫలితం మధురం వచనం మధురం చరితం మధురం వసనం మధురం ఫలితం మధురం చరితం మధురం ప్రణితం మధురం మధురాధిపతేరఖిలం మధురం మధురాధిపతేరఖిలం మధురం నృత్యం మధురం సఖ్యం మధురం మధురాధిపతేరఖిలం మధురం గీతం మధురం గీతం మధురం ఉత్తం మధురం శుద్ధం మధురం గీతం మధురం గీతం మధురం భక్తం మధురం శుద్ధం మధురం గీతం మధురం గీతం మధురం భక్తం మధురం శుద్ధం మధురం రూపం మధురం తిలకం మధురం మధురాధిపతేరఖిలం మధురం హరణం మధురం హరణం మధురం హరణం మధురం రమణం మధురం హరణం మధురం తరణం మధురం హరణం మధురం రమణం మధురం హరణం మధురం తరణం మధురం హరణం మధురం రమణం మధురం అమితం మధురం శమితం మధురం మధురాధిపతేరఖిలం మధురం
గంజా మధురా మాలా మధురా యమునా మధురా బీచీ మధురా గంజా మధురా
మధురా మధురా
మాలా మధురా
మధురా
యమునా
మధురా
మధురా బీచీ మధురా
సలిలం మధురం
మధురం
Om Shri Sai Ram. My most humble pranams to the lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba and Madhuradhipate Shri Krishna. We welcome you all to today's concluding session of the sweetness-filled journey of Madhurashtakam, explanation by Sister Kanakavalli Santanam. What we know is a drop, and what we don't know is an ocean. The small presentation of video, it was a small attempt by us to show how sweet is Mother Nature, the creation of Bhagwan himself. Sai Ram, I won't take much time from you all. I hand over the session to Sister Kanakavalli Santanam. Sai Ram.
Thank you, Bhaiya. करारविन्देन पदारविन्दं मुखारविन्दे विनिवेशयन्तं वटस्य पत्रस्य पुटेशयानं बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि. I offer my humble pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba and thank him for choosing me to be a medium today to serve his mission. Thank you, Swami. Yesterday, we had a small glimpse of Sri Vallabhacharya's life, his philosophy, his sampradaya. Today, keeping all those ideas in our mind, I'm sure that the ideas have taken their time to sink in, and with the understanding of those ideas, the understanding of Pushti Marga, the idea of grace of God, the idea of Seva Bhava, Gopi Bhava, Dasya Bhava, Vatsalya Sakti, the concept of Leela, we will now try and delve deeper into the shlokas of Madhurashtakam. We had already seen in brief, the meaning of the refrain that repeats at the fourth quarter or the fourth pada of every verse in the Madhurashtakam, which is Madhuradhipate Rakhilam Madhuram. That is Madhuradhipatehe Akhilam Madhuram. Everything that belongs to Lord, who is Madhuradhipati, the embodiment of sweetness himself, is Madhuram. We had seen that according to Vallabhacharya's philosophy, according to his understanding of this Jiva Jagat and its relation to Brahman, the ultimate reality, the Jiva and the Jagat are parts of Brahman, that is Purushottama Shri Krishna. The Purushottama Shri Krishna is Satchidananda, while the Jagat is a manifestation of his Sat aspect, and the Jiva is the manifestation of his Sat and Chit aspect. Therefore, if the Lord is the embodiment of sweetness, everything which is a part of him is going to be sweet. If the whole is sweet, the part will also be sweet. Now, when he says Akhilam, in brief, Akhilam could refer to Bhagavat Swarupa, it could refer to Bhagavat Leela. We will see in the verses how, or rather try to understand what Sri Vallabhacharya may have visualized when he got this spontaneous outpouring in the form of Madhurashtakam. The first verse reads, Adharam Madhuram, Vadanam Madhuram, Nayanam Madhuram, Hasitam Madhuram, Hridayam Madhuram, Gamanam Madhuram, Madhuradhipate Rakhilam Madhuram. The first description that he gives of the Lord, I had mentioned yesterday that Sri Vallabhacharya, when he was sitting in contemplation, it is said in the Sampradaya, they have a incident or a story recorded that when Vallabhacharya was sitting in contemplation is when Srinath ji or the Bala Gopala in the form of lifting the Govardhan Nath ji, who had emerged out of the cave in Mathura or Vrajabhumi, whom Sri Vallabhacharya very fondly did seva to, appeared in front of him, who is now referred to as Srinath ji of Nathdwara, and looking at him or having seen his manifestation, Vallabhacharya gave this Ashtakam. So the first thing that he says is Adharam Madhuram. Whenever we meet anyone for that matter, the first thing that captures our heart is the person's smile, because that is what is very welcoming. That is what decides whether that person is going to be approachable or not. So the minute the Lord manifests, he manifests with such a sweet smile that Acharya begins by saying Adharam Madhuram. Adhara means lips. He says Adharam Madhuram probably because the Lord's sweet smile was so endearing that he felt that the Lord was absolutely approachable. Also, we should remember here that the form of the Lord who is prayed to and worshipped to in the Vallabha Sampradaya or the Pushti Marga is Bala Gopala or Lord in the form of child Krishna. And the most enticing part of a child is the child's smile. It is said that how much ever worry you may have, the minute you see the smile of a child, you forget all your worries and stress in life. Moreover, when the child is the Lord himself, then what should we talk about? Therefore, Sri Vallabhacharya begins by saying Adharam Madhuram. And then he says Vadanam Madhuram. The minute he looks up, he sees beyond the smile of the Lord, he says, oh my God, what an illuminating face, illuminating mukha. So he says, Adharam Madhuram. Yes, the lips are very sweet. They are giving a very beautiful smile. However, the face is also as beautiful. Nayanam Madhuram. Then he says, oh, the eyes are beautiful. Nayanam Nama, eyes. Now, it is said that people long for a single glance of the Lord. There is a word called Karuna Kataksha. It is said that the Lord need not see face to face, even if he gives a slight glance from the side. It gives you all the well-being and spiritual evolvement in your life. Therefore, and Vallabhacharya is able to see the Lord face to face, and he is describing the eyes of the Lord and saying Nayanam Madhuram. And then he says, oh, your lips are sweet, your face is sweet, your eyes are sweet, and your laughter is sweeter than that. Now, the first thing that you notice of a child, of a person when you meet, is the outwardly beauty. Therefore, the Acharya first describes the Rupa of Bhagavan. But immediately he says, yes, his physical form is beautiful, but my Lord is beautiful in and out. Therefore, he says, Hridayam Madhuram. It is very fascinating here to notice that this very kind of ordering in the choice of words, Adharam Madhuram, Vadanam Madhuram, Nayanam Madhuram, Hasitam Madhuram, just as he is explaining the Rupa of the Bhagavan, suddenly he goes into explaining his inner beauty that shows the spontaneity in his thoughts. He says, Hridayam Madhuram, saying, my Lord is not just beautiful by physique, he is beautiful in and out. Then he says, Gamanam Madhuram. He is not just standing. The Acharya is able to see the Lord walking. And he's saying, oh, my Lord does not only smile beautifully, but his gait is also beautiful. And he says, in this way, Madhuradhipatehe Akhilam Madhuram. So, in the first verse of the Madhurashtakam, Acharya is describing the Bhagavat Swarupa of Purushottama Krishna. Then he says, Vachanam Madhuram, Charitam Madhuram, Vasanam Madhuram, Valitam Madhuram, Chalitam Madhuram, Bhramitam Madhuram, Madhuradhipate Rakhilam Madhuram. Now, after describing the outward beauty of the Lord, he then says, Vachanam Madhuram. Now, we don't know what form of Krishna that Sri Vallabhacharya may have in his mind when he was reciting this stotra. However, we do know that for him, the ultimate reality was Purushottama Krishna, but at the same time, he offered his worship to Bala Gopala as if a mother would fondle a child. So when he says Vachanam Madhuram, what must have been his thoughts? The most beautiful thing about a child's growing up is also its babbling. The first words of the child. Therefore, for Vallabhacharya, who is filled with Vatsalya Bhava for his Srinathji, for his Balagopala, he says, Vachanam Madhuram. That babbling of the child of Lord Sri Krishna in the form of Balagopala is Madhuram, is sweet. At the same time, when he says Vachanam Madhuram, what is the greatest Vachana of Lord Sri Krishna? The Bhagavad Gita itself. So when he says Vachanam Madhuram, it might be the babbling of Balagopala, or it can also be taken as the greatest Vachana of Lord Sri Krishna, which is the Bhagavad Gita itself, which is the essence of knowledge, of philosophy. Then he says, Charitam Madhuram. Your speech, Vachanam, is beautiful. So is your life story. We know that in the Vallabha, we have seen yesterday that in the Vallabha Sampradaya, the Bhagavata Purana had extreme importance. Vallabhacharya propagated the reading of Bhagavata Purana in the form of saptahas. He encouraged Shravana and Kirtana Bhakti by holding Bhagavata saptahas. Therefore, he says, your Vachana in the form of Bhagavad Gita is sweet. At the same time, your Charita, your life story in the Bhagavata Purana, which we are all enjoying as Shravana Bhakti or are reciting in the form of Kirtana Bhakti and are getting drenched in devotion, that Charita of yours is also sweet. Then he says, Vasanam Madhuram. Vasana, the word Vasana has two meanings. Simply, Vasana could mean an attire. Now, when Vallabhacharya is worshipping or doing seva to Balagopala, he is going to be giving him bath. He is going to be anointing him with sandal paste. He is going to be offering the Pitambara also. Just like a mother dresses up the child and admires it with all her heart, similarly, Vallabhacharya also looks at the form of Sri Krishna and says, oh, your attire is so beautiful, so sweet. Vasanam Madhuram. The word Vasanam also means dwelling. a place of abode. So when he says Vachanam Madhuram, the Bhagavad Gita in the form of your Vachana is sweet. And then he's saying Charitam Madhuram, your story in the form of Bhagavata Purana is sweet. And your Vasana, your abode in the form of Goloka is sweet. Now, which is the Goloka that he is referring to? The Goloka that he was living in, the Vrajabhumi, or the Goloka which exists beyond the Vaikuntha for Vallabhacharya? It could be both, because in many sampradayas, there is no difference between the Ihagoloka and the Paragoloka. Therefore, after Vachanam Charitam, he comes to Vasana, which in the form of the Balagopala refers to the Pitambara or dressing up of the child, or in the form of his Purushottama Krishna or the ultimate reality could refer to nothing but the Goloka, which is the ultimate Dhamma in the Pushti Marga. Then he says Valitam Madhuram. Now, after describing his speech, his story, his dressing, he looks at the way that the Lord is standing. Srinathji is standing with one hand raised, holding the Govardhana, with his feet crossed, and has beautiful bend, and at 3 places, which is referred to as Tribhangi, having a bend in 3 places. So that Valita, that bend is also sweet. Then he says, Chalitam Madhuram, your walk is beautiful. Now, in the previous verse, he said Gamanam Madhuram. And here he is saying Chalitam Madhuram. Now, Gamanam means to go, to move. And Chalitam means to walk. What does this may mean? The first movement of the child before he walks is crawling. Therefore, probably in the beginning, he says Gamanam Madhuram. The way Lord Krishna, the child Bala Gopala crawls is beautiful. And by the time he comes to the second verse, he says Chalitam Madhuram, because what is most endearing to the mother is also the first walk of the child. Therefore, he says Chalitam Madhuram. And then he says Brahmitam Madhuram. Brahmitam can have multiple meanings. Now, once the child knows how to stand on its feet and it slowly starts walking, it has, if you've seen the children roam around themselves, they go round and round and round and round. So, maybe Vallabhacharya has the experience of Srinathji in the form of Balagopala, and he says that Chalitam Madhuram, your first walk is beautiful, O Lord. It's very sweet, but the way you go round and round like a sweet small child is also absolutely endearing and sweet. But does this mean only going round and round, Brahmana, wandering? No. As Purushottama Shri Krishna, he also makes us awestruck with his Vishwarupa Darshana. So here, Brahmitam Madhuram, the going round and round of the child form of Shri Krishna is also sweet. And the Vishwarupa Darshana of the Lord, which makes us go awestruck, that Brahmita is also sweet. Not only that, he also creates magic. That Brahmita of the Lord is also very sweet. He confuses us. How does he do that? Didn't Krishna with multiple gopis multiply himself and dance the ras? Isn't that Brahmita? Isn't that creating confusion? Isn't that creating a wondrous confusion? That Brahmita is also Madhura. Also, when he went to kill Kamsa, Kamsa was seeing Krishna all around. Isn't that confusion which creates fear in the mind of the evil? Isn't that Brahmita, his Leela, sweet? So the child's going round and round is beautiful as Balagopala, as Purushottama Krishna, his Vishwarupa Darshana, Brahmitam is beautiful. Also, the various kinds of confusions he creates in his Leela, be it positive, like creating the ras with all the gopis of Vrindavan, or creating a fear in the mind of the evil, like Kamsa or Duryodhana for that matter. That Brahmitam is also Madhura. And then he says, Madhuradhipatehe Akhilam Madhuram. In the first shloka, he attributes all the Swarupas of the Lord and says, all your forms are sweet. In the second, he says, all the things, all your kriya, all your actions that we experience, that we see, are also sweet. From here, he then says, Venur Madhuro, Renur Madhuraha, Panir Madhuraha, Padau Madhurau, Nrityam Madhuram, Sakhyam Madhuram, Madhuradhipate Rakhilam Madhuram. Venuhu Madhuraha. Venu, Nama, the flute. Krishna and his flute are inseparable. He says, that flute of yours, with which you mesmerize everybody, that flute is extremely sweet. Now, how does your flute and your music charm everybody? It is said that when Krishna used to play the flute, all the animals in Vrindavana, who may be Janmajata Vairi, born enemies, like the snake and the mongoose, for an example, they would all come and surround him and listen, being enchanted by his Venu's nada. So that flute that charms everyone, with which you charm everyone and enchant everyone, is sweet. Now that Venu is also sweet because it has your grace of always being together with you. By that quality or by that ability to always be with you, that Venu is extremely sweet. Then he says, Renur Madhuraha. Renu means dust. It is said that every particle of the Vrindavana or the Vrajabhumi is extremely holy because it had the touch of Sri Krishna. So Sri Vallabhacharya says, all that small particles of Renu, of dust, which had your anugraha and could get your samipya and your sanidhya, is sweet. Because finally, whether chit or achit, whether it is the jagat or the jiva, whether it has consciousness or it doesn't have consciousness, the Renu is also the Lord's part. Renu, even though it does not have consciousness, it is a manifestation of Purushottama Shri Krishna's Sat aspect. Therefore, being a part of the whole is Madhuradhipati and the part is also Madhura. And then he says, Panir Madhuraha. The hand is beautiful. Which hand? That hand which plays the Venu. Okay? That hand which lifts the Govardhana. The ultimate form or the Bhagavat Swarupa, which Vallabhacharya worshipped all through his life, was that of Srinathji. And Srinathji is a manifestation of the Lord's form of Govardhana Giridhari, Lord holding the mountain Govardhana in his hand. Therefore, he says, how could he not have exalted that hand, that Pani of the Lord? And therefore, he says, Panir Maduraha. And then he says, Padau Madurau. Now, which feet that he is referring to? When Sri Krishna was born and he was being taken to Gokula, Yamuna was flooded. But the minute Sri Krishna touched the Yamuna Devi with his feet, she immediately gave way to him. That holy feet of Sri Krishna, Vallabhacharya says, is Madhura or sweet. Also, he speaks in analogy. If you look at this verse, he says, Venur Madhuro, Renur Madhuraha, Panir Madhuraha, Padau Madhuraha. Venur Madhuro, Panir Madhuraha, Renur Madhuraha, Padau Madhurau. Now, the flute is sweet, and in the second pada he says, the hand which plays that sweet flute is also sweet. Similarly, he says the dust is sweet, and your feet, which has given the grace to that dust, is also sweet. Then he says, Nrityam Madhuram. Your dance is beautiful. Now, what dance is he talking about? In his childhood, he did Kaliya Mardana. He danced on Kaliya and subdued his ahankara. That nrityam of Sri Krishna is sweet. At the same time, for the gopis who lost their identity of the self and were completely in devotion to Lord Sri Krishna, he blessed them with grace and danced the ras with them. So that nritya, that dance, be it Kaliya Mardana or be it the ras with the gopis, both are sweet. Then he says, Sakhyam Madhuram. Now, Sakhya Bhava is one of the Navavidha Bhaktis, one of the bhavas given in the Navavidha Bhakti, which I quoted yesterday. So, Sri Vallabhacharya says, all the things associated with you are sweet, but my association with you is also sweet. Any kind of association with Lord Sri Krishna is also sweet, and one kind of association is that of Sakhya Bhava, is that of friendship. Now, what is this Sakhya Bhava of Sri Krishna in his Leela? The Sakhyam with Sudama, who had all the knowledge in the world, who was the most dearest friend of Sri Krishna. He did not have material wealth, and he did not ask Sri Krishna for any material wealth. Though he was sent to meet Sri Krishna to ask for some material help so that he and his family could live a comfortable life. But Sudama, when he had darshan of Sri Krishna, he could only express his Sakhya Bhava and his love to Lord Sri Krishna. He could not ask for anything. Rather, asking for anything never occurred to him. In fact, the small offering of poha that he had taken to Sri Krishna is also something he hesitated to offer, seeing Sri Krishna's Vaibhavam. However, a friend always knows the mind of the other friend. So Sri Krishna, even without Sudama speaking out his desire or speaking out his so-called want or so-called need, he blessed him with all Aishwarya. So that Sakhya, where he endows his devotees or his Sakhya, those who serve him with Sakhya Bhava, with all the material wealth or all the prosperity that they need in life. At the same time, he is also the Sakha of Arjuna, who takes away his ignorance and leads him in the path of understanding the ultimate reality. So that Sakha, Krishna, in the form of friend of Sudama and in the form of friend of Arjuna, one friend who understands your mind even without you having to speak and endows you with all that you are entitled for, even if you don't desire for it. If you need it, he showers you with all the love. That friend, also the friend who brings you back to the right path when you are confused and guides you and helps you be your guiding light. That friend, both the form of association with you, the Sakhya Bhava that we associate with Lord, both are Madhura. Therefore, Madhuradhipatehe Akhilam Madhuram. In this verse, Acharya enlists the various things associated to the Lord and then finally says that our association in the form of Sakhya or the association with you in the form of Sakhya, which was exemplified by the lives of Sudama and Arjuna, are also sweet. Then he says, Geetam Madhuram, Pitam Madhuram, Bhuktam Madhuram, Suptam Madhuram, Rupam Madhuram, Tilakam Madhuram, Madhuradhipater Akhilam Madhuram. Now in the previous verse, he started by saying, Venur Madhuraha. Now he says, Geetam Madhuram. Now Geetam Madhuram refers to the music that emanated from Krishna's Venu. So in previous verse, he started with Venu and now he says that the Geetam that emanates from that Venu. So somewhere it is a spontaneous thought, stream of thoughts that is probably going on in the Acharya's mind that gets reflected in the verses of the Madhurashtakam. That music, that enchanting divine music that even gathered people together, gathered even born enemies together, that is mesmerizing, that is sweet. Then he says, Geetam Madhuram. Geetam Madhuram, Pitam Madhuram. Your way of drinking is also, what you drink is also very sweet. What does he drink? Milk. How does it drink? Because he says your way of drinking is also sweet. He doesn't say what you drink is sweet. Pitam Madhuram. Because it can be taken both ways. How does he drink? Now you might have seen this very famous and endearing painting of Lord Sri Krishna of drinking the milk directly from the cow. It is said that Sri Krishna used to be adored with so much love even by the cows of the Vrajabhumi. For every jiva, be it an animal or a living human being, a person, every jiva in the Vrajabhumi is considered to be an avatara, an incarnation of Pushti Jivas. Those who have been blessed with the grace of Lord, they have attained mukti and then they have incarnated with the Lord in order to take part in his Leela. So even the cow is a jiva, a Pushti Jiva, and is taking part in the Leela of the God and is showering the Lord, because the Pushti Jivas are born only to serve the Lord. They are born for Seva Bhava. That is the kind of feeling that they have. So the cow, which is a Pushti Jiva, is offering Seva to Sri Krishna by automatically giving her milk to Lord Sri Krishna. So that Pitam is Madhuram. Bhuktam Madhuram. Now what you eat is also very sweet. Krishna is Navanita Chora, isn't he? The way he steals butter and eats it like a small child and does his leela is extremely sweet. At the same time, it was this very Krishna who had the poha given by Sudama, who was mentioned or who can be exemplified in the previous verse by the Sakhya Bhava, who Krishna who ate that one handful of poha and gave him all the prosperity in his life. That one bhukta, that one eating, that one action of eating of yours is also sweet. So as Balakrishna, your Navanita Choranam is extremely sweet, and as Purushottama Krishna, and as Krishna who graces the devotee with Sakhya Bhava and fulfills his desire by having a handful of his offering, a handful of his poha is sweet. Also, in the Vallabha Sampradaya, as I mentioned yesterday in brief, now in Vallabha Sampradaya, Sri Vallabhacharya believed that the idol that they worship is Lord himself. It is Bhagavat Swarupa, Lord, who has come in the form of a small idol in order to give his devotees the pleasure of serving him. Therefore, even the Govardhan Nath Ji, who had come out of the cave in the Vraja Bhumi, whom Lord Acharya Vallabhacharya worshipped for the entire time period of his lifetime. Similarly, he gave these idols to all his initiated members and asked them to do service to that Lord. And that Govardhan Nath Ji, during the time of Vallabhacharya's son named Vitthalanatha, was shifted to the Nathdwara temple, which is currently the Srinathji temple. So in the Srinathji temple, you must have heard the word called Chappan Bhog. So it is a ritual, a kind of a ritual where at every prahara, a beautiful, thali of various kinds of food, having all the shad rasas, all the different rasas in food are made and offered to Lord Balagopala. So they believe in serving the Lord like a child. And also, it is interesting to note that this form of worship in the Nathdwara, they call it a Haveli worship. It is not a temple, rather a Haveli. It is home of the Lord. It is a house where Lord lives. Therefore, you wake up the Lord, you give him food, you give him baths. His day is divided into 8 praharas, and every prahara they do different kinds of seva, and at the other times of the day, the shrine is closed. The God is not disturbed. The Gopala is not disturbed. So, to the Vallabha Sampradayis or the Pushti Margins who take care of the Lord from morning till night and offer him different kinds of food and say, when you have that food, that action of your eating is also extremely sweet. And they say, Suptam Madhuram. And after eating, how sweetly you fall asleep. When children sleep, they have a very mild smile on their face. So Sri Vallabhacharya is imagining, is probably witnessing Srinathji or Balagopala in that form while he's doing his seva, and he's saying, when I offer you food, the way you eat it is beautiful. And then when I put you to sleep, the way you sweetly fall asleep is extremely endearing. So he says, when you sing your music that emanates from your flute, Geetam Madhuram, Geetam Madhuram, the way you drink right from the cow itself, the milk, and then the way you eat, be it Navanita Chora or be it to bless your devotees in the form of having the poha of Sudama, or the way you accept our bhoga to you that we offer day after day in the Haveli. Obviously, the term Haveli came during the time of Vitthal Nathji, but the pratha of offering bhojana to Lord through the 8 praharas of the day was there. So Vallabhacharya says the way you eat our bhoga that we offer to you is sweet, and the way you sweetly fall asleep when we put you to sleep is also sweet. Therefore, the verses that Sri Vallabhacharya is reciting after experiencing Lord Sri Krishna is completely filled with Vatsalya Bhava, the way a mother would see her child, would experience her child and enjoy every action of the child. At the same time, Sri Vallabhacharya, who realizes that Bala Gopala who has come to him in the form of an idol just so that he may grace you and give you the ability to offer your seva to him, he is the same Lord who is the ultimate reality, who is the Purushottama Krishna. So he also remembers that when he says Vachanam, it is the greatest Vachana that Lord Sri Krishna has given in the form of Bhagavad Gita. When we say Charitam, it is the Bhagavata Purana that explains his entire Leela. Then he says Rupam Madhuram. The child, the mother, beautifully decorates the child and watches it very endearingly. So Vallabhacharya, after giving the Lord food, after making him sleep, when he watches Balagopala, he says, this whole form of yours with a small tilaka on the forehead, tilakam, everything is beautiful. Whether it is your entire form with that small endearing tilaka on your forehead, every form of yours is extremely sweet. Madhuradhipatehe akhilam madhuram. Then he says, Karanam madhuram, taranam madhuram, haranam madhuram, ramanam madhuram, vamitam madhuram, shamitam madhuram, madhuradhipatehe akhilam madhuram. Karanam madhuram. Now, karanam, whatever you do, whatever are your doings, all your leela are sweet, because the leela or the jagat is the manifestation of his sat form. Therefore, Madhuradhipati, whose manifestation is this jagat, whatever happenings are happening all around us is all his doing, and the doings of the embodiment of sweetness is always going to be sweet. Then he says, Taranam Madhuram, and you helping us cross over this leela, helping us cross over this entanglement of samsara, taking us beyond this bhavasagara, taranam, is also madhuram. Now, he is the same Lord who is making everything in this world happen. Therefore, he says all the things that happen in this world around me, which I can see, which I am experiencing, is beautiful because it is your will. At the same time, when you take us beyond this jagat, beyond this samsara, and make us a part of your divine leela and your divine goloka, that act of yours, which takes us beyond this world of samsara, is beautiful. Then he says, Haranam Madhuram, Smaranam Madhuram. There is a Pathabhed here. Pathabhed are differences that sometimes creep into stotras because of the place where they are recited. You know, sometimes in the northern region, a certain version is famous. In the southern region, a certain version is famous. So here, the word is Smaranam Madhuram. So Haranam Madhuram means taking away. Haranam is Madhura. What is Sri Vallabhacharya referring to when he's saying Haranam Madhuram? What is he taking away? He is taking away our ahankara. He is taking away all the bhava of kartrutva bhava and bhoktrutva bhava. The bhava of I am the doer or I am the enjoyer. Because unless and until this bhava is not taken away from us, we will not be able to transcend the samsara and become a part of his leela. Therefore, if the Lord has to do the act of taranam, he is also doing the act of haranam after taking away our ignorance that has arisen because of our desires and attachments, because of which we are seeing the entire world as a samsara, as a situation of entanglement rather than a God's play or Bhagavat Leela. So he takes away that ignorance and then takes us beyond this world, Taranam. Now, this is not the only Harana he does. He has also done Harana in his Charitra, in his Leela. With what Harana might this be referring to? He took away, as Balakrishna, he would take away Navanita from everybody's homes, Navanita Chora. As Krishna, he also took away the Vastras of the Gopi. That Harana was also a Harana of the Ahankara. By that episode, Shri Krishna taught the Gopis complete surrender or Atma Nivedanam. Because for Vallabhacharya also says that your journey in the path of devotion should begin with Atma Nivedanam. Therefore, he says, first, the Lord takes away the ignorance so that we may do Atma Samarpana or Atma Nivedana, and then he enables us to get freed from this samsara and go beyond to the Goloka. And this Haranam is also Madhura, because that is also an act of Lord Shri Krishna. Because everything in this world, every act of ours is being directed by the Lord. Because in his final message, Sri Vallabhacharya says, Gopishaha eva vidhasyati akhilam. It is Gopisha who actually makes everything happen. Therefore, if I have to do Atma Nivedana, I will have the desire to do Atma Nivedana, and the Lord has to bless me, grace me with the ability to do it. Therefore, he takes away the ahankara, haranam madhuram, and then he takes us beyond this samsara towards spiritual evolvement, taranam madhuram. But at the same time, karanam madhuram, for a beginner, whatever is happening around me, I have to look at it as madhura, because it is a part of the whole, a part of Madhuradhipati. The Jagat is nothing but his manifestation. Smaranam Madhuram, and being in complete remembrance. Okay, Ramanam also in a sense means being completely engrossed. So whether we call it Ramanam Madhuram or Smaranam Madhuram, what he is talking about is a constant chintana of the Lord. Because he says, yesterday as we saw, your devotion at some point will mature to such an extent you will be so engrossed in the Lord that tat vinasthatum ashaktihi. You will reach a state where it is impossible for you to live without him. At the same time, you know you have the positive grace of the Lord and you have the faith on Lord that there is mukti possible. You will be united with him at some point, and still you are having continuous pang of separation from him. So Vallabhacharya says this very ambiguous kind of a state where you are constantly in a feeling of separation from the Lord is also sweet, because when you are experiencing that pang of separation, you are in constant remembrance of the Lord. Because when you reach moksha, you are in his samipya, you are with him, you are doing seva to him. But there is an innate sweetness that is there in experiencing pain, he says. The pain of separation for Vallabhacharya is also extremely sweet. Therefore, he says, Ramanam Madhuram or Smaranam Madhuram. When I am remembering you, when I am remembering your charitra through the Bhagavata Purana, through your leelas, when I am contemplating about all that you have given us in the form of knowledge, in the form of your life story, that remembrance of your leela is also sweet. And that pang of separation that comes about due to being completely engrossed in you, Ramanam, that is also sweet. Vamitam Madhuram, Shamitam Madhuram. Now this word Vamita, Vamana, has two, it can be taken in two ways. Vamita basically means whatever is thrown out. Okay. So one very simple explanation, direct literal translation, they say Vamita is vomit, okay, whatever you throw out. It is said that for a mother, when the child vomits, everybody might look around, not knowing what to do. It will be the mother who will first go and give her hand, to the child and take care of the child. So Vallabhacharya, when he's visualizing Balakrishna, even if the vomit of the child, Vamitam Madhuram, is sweet for the mother does not feel a kind of, disgust looking at the vomit of the child. The mother will be the first person to go and help the child if the child is vomiting. So, as a motherly affection, Vamitam Madhuram, the vomit of the child, Balagopala, is also beautiful. But if we look at it a little more philosophically, Vamitam Madhuram, what is it that is thrown out or thrown from the Purushottama Shri Krishna? It is nothing but the Jiva and the Jagat. Because Krishna is Purna, he is Purnavatara, he is complete, he is Sat Chitanananda. From his Sat Chitananda form, his Sat aspect manifests or is thrown out in the form of Jagat. And a Sat and Chit, the existence and the consciousness together when they are thrown out in the form of Jiva. So Vallabhacharya says that Vamita, he is probably referring to that philosophical Vamita, that throwing out of the Jagat and the Jiva is also beautiful. He says, you have brought us to this samsara, you have brought us and given us the form of a Jiva, you have created this Jagat for your Leela, for your play. So the Jiva and the Jagat, the Jiva and your Leela, the Jagat in the form of your Leela are both beautiful. So he does not negate the Jiva and the Jagat, saying that they are inferior or we should not enjoy them. He says because they are thrown or are a part of Purushottama Shri Krishna, that Vamita, that throwing out is also beautiful. Then Shamitam Madhuram, that exuberance of yours is also beautiful. Madhuradhipatehe akhilam madhuram. So Vamitam Madhuram, that Jiva and Jagat that is thrown out of you is sweet. And Shamitam, the exuberance of your form as Satchitananda, that exuberance is also sweet. In this verse, Sri Vallabhacharya says, whatever is your doing, whether it is Vamita or Shamita, both are sweet. Whether you are taking our ignorance away and then you are taking us beyond this samsara, taranam, haranam, that is also beautiful. And if not that, if we are in a constant pang of separation from you and engrossed in devotion, that ramanam or smaranam of yours is also sweet. Then he says, Gunja Madhura, Mala Madhura, Yamuna Madhura, Vichi Madhura, Salilam Madhuram, Kamalam Madhuram, Madhuradhipatehe, Akhilam Madhuram. Now again here, he says every entity that ever had any association with you, be it in the Ihagoloka or Paragoloka, are all beautiful, are all sweet. Gunja, Nama Shrub. Shrub in the Vrindavana that had your grace is sweet. That shrub which is a Sat manifestation of your Sat, which is a part of you, is sweet because you are Madhuradhipati. Mala Madhura, the garland that had your Sanidhya, the mala that you were wearing, that garland that you're wearing is sweet. Yamuna Madhura, the Yamuna which gained the touch of your feet, which who was the witness to all your leelas in the Vrajabhumi. In that Yamuna where you bathed, that Yamuna where you did the Kaliya Mardana, that Yamuna is beautiful, is sweet. Vichi Madhura, it's not just the Yamuna river that is sweet. It is also Vichi, the waves, the currents that emerge in the river Yamuna is also sweet. Now Yamuna Madhura, then why Vichi has to be separately mentioned here? If we think a little, if we try and contemplate a little, Yamuna river is constantly flowing. It has a permanent existence, whereas Vichi is temporary. The current comes and goes. Whether it is a permanent Sat or if it is a temporary Sat, anything, any existence that ever had your association, a wave which once when it came up in the Yamuna river had your association, has already become completely sweet because of that association with you, even though its own existence was temporary. Salilam Madhuram, Yamuna is sweet, its current or the waves in Yamuna are sweet. Salilam Madhuram, the water in Yamuna is also sweet. Yamuna is described as a dark river whose water is extremely sweet because of the association of Sri Krishna. A dark river which is sweet because she is, or the water is, it is a manifestation of Madhuradhipati, the embodiment of sweetness. Kamalam Madhuram, and a lotus that blooms from within that water is also sweet. A Kamala may not have bloomed when you were in Vrajabhumi, but the Salila, which had your association, now is giving birth to a Kamala, and that Kamala being associated with your Sat manifestation and itself being your Sat manifestation becomes sweet. Therefore, everything in the Goloka, in the Godhama, that ever had an association with the Madhuradhipati, being a manifestation of Madhuradhipati, itself becomes Madhura or sweet. Then he says, Gopi Madhura, Leela Madhura, Yuktam Madhuram, Muktam Madhuram, Drishtam Madhuram, Shishtam Madhuram, Madhuradhipaterakhilam Madhuram. Gopi Madhura, the gopis in the Vrindavana who had your sanidhya are extremely sweet. Leela Madhura, and the Leela that you did in the Goloka, in the Godhama, is extremely sweet. It is said, as I mentioned yesterday, that gopis are considered as Shuddha Pushti Jivas. They have a special grace of Lord. Even among the Pushti Jivas, they are considered a highest form of Pushti Jivas due to their complete surrender to Lord, and because of them having no bhava of aham. And the leela that he did with the gopis in order to teach us devotion, the gopi and the leela that he did with them, so that he may set an example for us for devotion, that leela and those gopis are sweet because they are associated with you, and philosophically they are your own manifestation, parts of your manifestation. Yuktam madhuram muktam madhuram. Yuktam meaning to be united with you is sweet. Muktam madhuram, to be separated from you, is also sweet. As I mentioned in the previous verse, for Sri Vallabhacharya, the pang of separation from Lord is also sweet because it gives him a chance to completely keep thinking about him, about Lord. Now it is said in the Mahabharata that when Sri Krishna asked Kunti about what she wanted, so it's one of the anecdotes, she says that give me sorrow. It's a story where she says, give me sorrow, because when there is happiness, people don't think about you. But when there is sorrow, we always think about you. So it is better to have sorrow so that I can be in constant remembrance of the Lord. But here, this is not material sorrow that Sri Vallabhacharya is talking about. It is the lack of ananda, the experience of ananda, the lack of experience of ananda that arises because of the jiva being separated from the Purushottama Krishna. So he says, being united with you is also sweet, but being separated from you is also sweet. Now, if we see, keep analogy and see, Gopi Madhura Yuktam Madhuram, Leela Madhura Muktam Madhuram. Now, Gopi Madhura, the gopis are sweet, and the way they were united with you, that union is also sweet. And Leela Madhura Muktam Madhuram. Leela is nothing but the manifested form of the Lord, the Jagat. So the Jagat is beautiful. Muktam Madhuram. Now if we take the meaning as being liberated from this samsara, is also beautiful. Drishtam Madhuram, Shishtam Madhuram. Whatever you see, whatever is seen is Madhuram. Whatever form of yours is seen, Drishtam Madhuram, and Shishtam Madhuram. Whatever discipline that you give us. For example, there is in devotion, there is no questioning of the Lord. So, Vallabhacharya says, whatever knowledge you have given to us, whatever we perceive of you, everything is sweet. At the same time, if you discipline us like a father would, and if you correct us and give us some bad time, and if you delay the grace, that delayed grace is also sweet. Drishtam Madhuram, Shishtam Madhuram, Madhuradhipatehe Akhilam Madhuram. Finally, coming to the last verse, he says, Gopa Madhura Gavo Madhura, Yashtir Madhura Srishtir Madhura, Dalitam Madhuram Phalitam Madhuram, Madhuradhipatehe Akhilam Madhuram. Now that he has spoken about the gopis of the Goloka, how can he not talk about the Gopas, who were the most endeared friends of Lord Shri Krishna? Those Gopas who are also incarnations of the Pushti Jivas, who are taking part in the Lord's Leela, that Gopas are Madhura, are sweet. Gavo Madhuraha, the cows in Vrindavan who had your association, whom you grazed, those cows are sweet. Yashtir Madhura, the stick that you held in your hand and played with while you were grazing the cows, that yashti, that stick, is also sweet. And Srishtir Madhura, and the creation that you do is also beautiful. Whether they are humans like Gopas in your Leela or an animal in your Leela, both are equally sweet because they are your manifestations. They have your association. Not just humans or animals, even a material thing like Yashti, which does not have consciousness, which does not have chit, is also sweet because it had your sanidhya. And even if it is material, it has your sat aspect. It exists because of your will. And the entire creation of humans, animals, and material things, Srishti, is also beautiful. Gopa Madhura, Gavo Madhura, Yashtir Madhura, Srishtir Madhura. Dalitam Madhuram, Phalitam Madhuram. Now, whether you strictly discipline or cut down something, that Dalita, if you cut down the evil, that is also sweet. In that Srishti of yours, in that creation of yours, if you are going to remove the evil, if you are going to remove the ignorance, if you are going to subdue the dushtas and remove the ajnana of the ajnanis, that Dalita is also sweet. And in that same Srishti, if you are going to endow people with your grace and adore them with fruits, in the sense of fruit of spiritual evolvement and your grace, the fruit of your grace, that Phalita is also Madhura. So, Gopa Madhura, the people in this Jagat are sweet, your creation. The animals are sweet. Even the material things like Yashti are sweet. Your entire creation made up of humans, animals, and material things are sweet. And in that creation of yours, if you are going to subdue something, Dalitam Madhuram, if you are going to cut out something, if you are going to do Dalana of something, or if you are going to do Phalana of something, if you are going to endow your devotees with grace, the fruit of your grace, whether it is Dalita or Phalita, whatever happens in your Srishti happens because of your grace, and it is your manifestation and your will, and therefore being a part of you, being a part of the embodiment of sweetness, Madhuradhipati, everything is Madhura. With this, I would like to conclude my humble, reading of Madhurashtakam. I wouldn't call it an explanation. If we have maybe 5 minutes more, can I take? Then I would like to conclude it with a musical offering of the Madhurashtakam.
Sure, sure. In fact, there has been request which is coming forward, like for you to sing.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I anyways wanted to conclude with a musical offering of the Madhurashtakam. So with Swami's blessings. Adharam madhuram vadanam madhuram nayanam madhuram hasitam मधुरम् हृदयं मधुरम् गमनं मधुरम् मधुराधिपते अखिलं मधुरम् अधरं मधुरं वदनं मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेः अखिलं मधुरं वचनं मधुरं चरितं मधुरं वसनं मधुरं बलितं मधुरं चलितं मधुरं भ्रमितं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं वेणुर्मधुरो रेणुर्मधुरः पाणिर्मधुरा पादौ मधुरौ वेणुर्मधुरो रेणुर्मधुरः पाणिर्मधुरः पादौ मधुरौ नृत्यं मधुरं सख्यं मधुरं मधुराधिपते अखिलं मधुरं गीतं मधुरं पीतं मधुरं भुक्तं मधुरं सुप्तं मधुरं रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरं मधुराधिपते रखिलं मधुरं करणं मधुरं तरणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं स्मरणं मधुरं वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं गुञ्जा मधुरा माला मधुरा यमुना मधुरा वीची मधुरा गुञ्जा मधुरा माला मधुरा यमुना मधुरा वीची मधुरा सलिलं मधुरं कमलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं गोपी मधुरा लीला मधुरा युक्तं मधुरं मुक्तं मधुरं गोपी मधुरा लीला मधुरा युक्तं मधुरं मुक्तं मधुरं दृष्टं मधुरं शिष्टं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं गोपा मधुरा भावो मधुरा यष्टिर्मधुरा सृष्टिर्मधुरा गोपा मधुरा भावो मधुरा यष्टिर्मधुरा सृष्टिर्मधुरा दलितं मधुरं फलितं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम् श्री कृष्ण शरणम। Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we'll go to the question answer session.
Yes, yes, please.
Okay. So somebody has asked the meaning of Vittaja Seva.
Okay, Vittaja Seva. So Vitta means money or wealth or prosperity. So Vittaja Seva means the seva that is done in the form of wealth using monetary seva of buying clothes for Sri Krishna, buying flowers for Sri Krishna, keeping the Haveli neat and clean, and like that, Vittaja Seva, done with money.
Thank you. Thank you. So is Vallabhacharya ji and Shripad Vallabhacharya ji both same, or are they two different people?
So there are two different. They are two different people. Sri Vallabhacharya is the founder and the propagator of the Pushti Marga or the Shuddhadvaita Sampradaya, whereas I think you're referring to Shripada Sri Vallabha. So now Shripada Sri Vallabha is a guru from the Dattatreya Sampradaya. He is considered to be the first mortal incarnation of Dattatreya in the Kali Yuga. So Shripada Sri Vallabha is different. So you might have heard that chant. Digambara, Digambara, Shripada Vallabha Digambara. So that Shripada Sri Vallabha is from the Dattatreya Sampradaya, and Sri Vallabhacharya is the Pushti Margin Guru.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned about the 8 praharas done at the Nathdwara. So what is exactly prahara?
Prahara is a time of the day. I'm not wrong. In modern calculation, a prahara would be about 1.5 to 2 hours, if my calculation is correct. So that is a way of measuring time. Prahara is a way of measuring time in the olden days, and it would probably, in the modern calculation, come to about 1.5 to 2 hours. If you have seen, not just here in the Nathdwara, but in the ancient texts also, the day of a Raja, Dinacharya, would be divided into praharas. And for every prahara, the Raja would be given a certain task to do. So similarly, prahara is just a measurement of time.
Oh, wow. So on the 4th stanza, there is a word coming as bhukta. So does eating mud also comes under bhukta?
Oh yes, that is one leela that I don't know, I did not mention. Bhuktam, see, every word in the stotra does not refer to a particular leela, because when Sri Vallabhacharya experienced Sri Krishna, we don't know which leela he had in his mind. So the word bhukta actually means that which is eaten. Bhuktam maduram. So just while delving deeper and trying to understand the experiences of Sri Krishna that Sri Vallabhacharya may have contemplated on when he was talking about Bhuktam or Suptam, various leelas can be quoted. And yes, of course, how can we miss out on the eating of mud? That is one of the most important leelas in Bhuktam that we can think of. Yes.
We move to our next question. So please explain what does being united means. Does it mean merging in him, or is it losing individual identity?
Okay, now this depends on which sampradaya we are talking about. Okay, so when you're saying in the Shankara sampradaya, being united means be one, merging with Brahman, rather to be devoid of ignorance, because it is said that Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva, Jivaha Brahma Eva. So the Jiva is nothing but the Lord. For in the Shankara Sampradaya, it means that being one, realizing that you are the Brahman, that merging, that realization that you are one is being united. But in Vallabha Sampradaya, when we mean united, at the highest level, it means that reaching the Parandhama. You know, in the Upanishads, there is the Vakya, Vishnoho Paramam Padam. So in all the Bhakti Sampradayas, what they strive for is to attain that Paramapada. In the Vallabha Sampradaya, that Paramapada is the Goloka or the Godhama, where Sri Krishna is there. But Vallabhacharya says that the Jiva reaches the Goloka, however, does not become one with him. It does not merge into the Brahma. There is always, there is duality because the Jiva is offering seva to the Lord there. So there is Advaita because the Jiva is a part of the whole. In that sense, there is Advaita, but there is not complete merging into the Lord. There is a little bit of a difference that still exists. That is why he is a Bhakti Acharya. That difference between the Lord and the devotee, that slight line of difference defines Bhakti.
Thank you so much. There are like a couple of more questions, but taking into consideration the limitations of the time, what we will do is we will try to answer those questions onto the groups like which we are having. Okay.
Sure.
Once again, thank you very much, Sister Kanakavalli, for showing you, for sharing your knowledge with the august viewers that we are having over here with us onto the subject of Madhurashtakam. Okay, though people say it is just 8 stanzas, but understanding those 8 stanzas, it is like really an effort, and somebody to make that understand, that is again a very big effort. We would also like to thank all our viewers, the organizing team, especially the moderators and the technical assistance team, like who is helping all the viewers onto the WhatsApp groups and also on the Zoom. And yes, Kalyan Samiti for actually helping us with the digital platforms to conduct the program. Yes, we are coming up with a series of programs connecting more onto spiritual texts, Kshetra Darshanams, also arts and culture. And yes, you can subscribe our YouTube link, that is Sri Satya Sai Anugraham, to be updated with all the upcoming programs. And we will keep you updated onto the groups that all are connected with us. We conclude today's session with our closing prayers. Sai Ram, everybody.
ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात् ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात् ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्
श्रीनारायण तु पुरुषोत्तम गुरुतु सिद्धबुद्ध तु स्कन्दविनायक सविता पावक तु सविता पावक तु ब्रह्ममस्तु यः तु येषु पिता प्रभुतु रुद्रविष्णुतु रामकृष्णतु रहिमतावतु रहिमतावतु वासुदेव गोविष्णुपतु चिदानन्द हरितु अद्वितीयतु अकालनिर्भय आत्मलिङ्ग शिवतु आत्मलिङ्ग
समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।